All right, folks, welcome to a very special edition of B&B's Football Happy Hour. I'm Bobby with my man Brian, and as you can see, we are joined by a 15-year NFL veteran, a two-time All-Pro, former Philadelphia Eagle, Arizona Cardinal, Jacksonville Jaguar, Cincinnati Bengals, Chicago Bear, former coach with the New York Jets, the St. Louis and LA Rams, the Cleveland Browns, currently coaching with Western Carolina University, member of the Wilmington Area Hall of Fame, Western Carolina Hall of Fame, Philadelphia Eagles Hall of Fame, and in my humble opinion, future NFL Hall of Famer due to his 121 and a half career sacks. Please welcome one of the greatest sack artists of all time, Clyde Simmons. How you doing, Clyde?
Pretty good. How about yourself?
I'm doing all right. Man, we are so happy to have you. I think you know Brian and I are both Eagles fans, longtime Eagles fans. So I remember running around as a little kid watching you on the field, and it is a pleasure to have you here.
It's my pleasure to be here, guys. My pleasure.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
So with our NFL guests we have on, I know our listeners love hearing about the journey that they went through. A lot of times we're coming from small towns and working our way up through the ranks, through high school, college, and then ultimately the pros. And I know you have a pretty good coaching journey after that. So could you take us through your journey to the top?
Okay, I guess you could start off in high school. I guess my sophomore year getting there, hitting a growth spurt, as in growing, but not size-wise, but getting a little taller. I think I got to like about 6'2", and then grew an inch after that every year after that, and finally got to Western and grew another half an inch when I was about 6'6" by the time I finished growing. And then, but, the weight came on, but it came on really slow, especially in high school. I think when I got to high school, I was 175, 180, somewhere around there. Put on 5'10" pounds. So by the time I graduated, I was 195, playing O-line, D tackle, DN, nose guard, inside linebacker. Most on defense. They would play a little bit of stuff. And Western was the only school that wanted me to play defense. The rest of them was like, okay, smaller schools or historically black colleges was actually becoming to be a tackle. And as I got older, moving to a guard, the Citadel was like, oh, we're going to play you at tight end, but don't y'all run the option? Y'all don't throw the ball. So, okay, you're a blocker. All right. So I was like, okay. Plus, I didn't think I could handle being a freshman walking in the gutters and the uniform and all the stuff right there. So, and then it was, I think they get up at 5, 6 in the morning or something crazy like that. And at 17, 18 years old, 5, 6 in the morning was like a punishment. So I don't think I'm built for that. So I came up to Western as a last-minute visit because my coach, Joe Miller, God bless his soul, he went to Western, sent some tape up to the coaches up at Western, and they came in with a last-minute visit offer. Made a decision to come up to Western, and I didn't have a clue about where they was going to play me because they was like, well, we don't know where we're going to play yet anyway. It'd probably be linebacker, outside linebacker, in, tackle. They ain't say nose guard, thank God. And but I didn't say inside backer, so I knew it's going to be something towards the line defensively. But I didn't think they was going to put me on offense, and come to find out they didn't. And I think I came in as a 205-pound. What he called it a defensive end, but it was basically a tackle because we ran a 30 front then. And then, came in, had a really good camp. The week before we played our first game, we had a scrimmage. And it's like the last week before scrimmage, big scrimmage for the last week. So we had our defenses, it wasn't like over and under. It was called Bear, Tiger, Lion, and all kinds of stuff. So we called Tiger, I lined up in Bear. We called Bear, I lined up in Tiger. And it was like everything was wrong. But I was like, no. I mean, I was a young kid and didn't have no clue about, you're just messing up, dude. You don't even have a clue that you're messing up. And Coach Sesser, he was like, and Coach Sesser is a guy from Hayesville, North Carolina. So he got that mountain accent. He said, Sean, I put too much pressure on you. I'm gonna do. You're gonna be my first tackle off the bench, Sean. I was like, because in my mindset, I came up to Western with the anticipation, okay, most freshmen don't get to play. And I came with the impression of the attitude of like, okay, I got to earn some time to play special teams. And then as I get older and a little stronger and all the stuff, I'm going to get a chance to play. Little did I know that I came in and I had such a great camp and I was doing so well. And because of always being not the biggest dude as in weight-wise and strength-wise, I learned early on how to use my hands and put my hands on people and doing all the things that, that's the modern game now. Setting the, forearm shivers and all the stuff right there. So it's the modern game. So it made me, instead of being 205, because of the length of my arms and using leverage and playing with a low plane and doing all the things that coaches love to hear and love to say, I was lucky enough to play like I was 255 instead of 205.
Nice.
And it just grew. And when it grew and started played just as much as a starter, just wasn't starting. And I guess just because of the way I took the approach of it as a young guy coming in, I didn't think about starting. I mean, as long as I played, now it's a big thing. I got to start. Dude, yeah, that's fine. Jerome Brown and Mike Golick had a great deal when they was in Philly. When we was in Philly, it's like Jerome knew he was a starter, but Golick would start the game. Because in Golick's contract, he had an incentive that says, hey, if you start so many games, you get a bonus. It don't matter if you start one game, one player, one game.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So Jerome was, Jerome made the Pro Bowl, and I think he started 8 games. But he played. So,
and Golick was smart. That's a smart move on his part.
Hey, I love Mike to death. I mean, because me and Michael went through a lot of things together as teammates, and I'll tell you, I'm so proud of him. But when he decided, because he was the only one that was doing television and radio in the off season, he was planning for his future and doing all that stuff. He was the only one doing all that, and he is where he is. It's because of what he did in those early years, and that's why I'm really proud of him. But get back to all this stuff about football and Clyde Simmons and going to Western and all the stuff. Played 4 years there. Play right, play left. Got lucky. The guy who came in from Philly, his name was Dale Hop. He was the D-line coach. I thought he was just another scout because at that time, back then, it wasn't pro days. It was workouts. This team is coming to work you out. This team is coming to work out. It'd be some weeks you have 2-3 different teams that may work you out in that week. So you're doing whatever drills they want you to do, running 40s, doing bench tests, doing verticals and all the stuff like that. They may have you doing. Some guys didn't. They just want you to run and move and see you move. Other people want you to work you to death. Well, he was one of them work you to death dudes. I think, let's see, I ran 240s. And back then I had a terrible start and didn't know how to run a 40. Like they get all this training now, better your starts and all the stuff. And ran like a 4.9, So I'm like, oh, okay. I was happy with that. I was like, oh, happy. And then later on found out I could run a 4.7 if I had a better start, in which I learned how to start, ran 4.7s. But and older, bigger, stronger, all the stuff, learning how to run. So he worked me out between the up downs, or some people call them belly flops, burpees, all that stuff. Did 50 of them. I didn't know that was part of the standard process with him as a coach.
What?
When we got in the training camp, it was an everyday process in training camp, 50 up downs every morning. We come out early, get them done.
Yeah.
And all the stuff with him. So he worked me out that, some box drills, Then the bench, like I said, I'll tell people all the time, I was not the strongest cat in the world because I played with leverage. I was not a weight room throw up 450 or something like that. So then I was doing my rep test, get myself all right, rep test. So you got that 225 on it, pow, and I got it. And I'm going pow, 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 pow. It's 8, 9, come to 10. So I do that right there. You want to try again? Yeah. So about 10 minutes go by. I do the same thing. 7, 8, 9. Racket. I could never get past 10 back then. So I ain't never claimed to be no weight room guy or nothing like that. I got stronger and all stuff as I got older and stuff, lifting weights, just repetition and all the things right there. But, I would never claim to be somebody that went into the gym and said, hey, I can knock down the gym in my workouts. Ain't happening. But then, like I said, when I got drafted by the Eagles and Dale Hopper, I got to take a lot of credit for give him a lot of credit for molding me in those 8 years that I played under his tutelage. Because early on, he was really tough about me and technique and getting me right about all the stuff and encouraging me. And at the same time, always in me on my shit so that he can make sure that I was right. Because I can tell you that first year, came in kind of like what it was at Western. I came in with the impression of playing some special teams, get a little playing time here and there, and learn to play the pro game and learn to get right. But Greg Brown got hurt in the preseason, ended up starting 2 preseason games. Got a sack and a safety. I think week 2, week 3 or something like that, and played the 4th game, played well. I'm like, I don't know nothing about the program. I just know that I'm playing, and I'm still nervous that I ain't gonna make this ball club because I'm too little. These big old behemoths, and I'm tall, but I come in the building. Me and Seth talk about this all the time. When we came in as rookies, Seth was a linebacker at 250. I was a defensive end at 6. Seth is 6'2", 6'3", 250. I'm almost 6'6", 248. He's bigger than I was when we came in. So that's the kind of stuff that we go back and all the stuff. He was the 8th round, I was the 9th rounder. So it was those kind of things in there. So, but I made the team, but I ain't have no clue. I was just nervous that, hey, I think I got a good chance. Not knowing that, dude, what you did in game 3, they gonna say, hey, we got to see if he can play something. But it worked out well. And I played a lot of years in Philadelphia, and I enjoyed almost every year. There's some years there's a couple years I didn't enjoy, and just because of personnel decisions that they made towards the end, I never thought they would let Reggie leave the building. When they let Reggie go, then it was like, And then at the same year, Mike Pitts left, Golick left, Keith Jackson, Keith Byers, William Frizzell, a couple other people gone. It's a totally different team, totally different mindset about guys. I mean, I had some good guys that came on later on. Andy Harmon. The craziest Tim Harris was, he was a decent player for a while until he got hurt, till he started getting nicked up a little bit. Byron Evans, Andre Waters was there. He was still 11. And Jerome had passed the year before. Reggie and them got left. So I never thought that out of that group, I would be the last one there. So when I was, like I said, then I get nicked up that last year. Knee was bothering me, shoulders bothering me, and trying to play through it, not complaining, not doing, just trying to do it. Probably wasn't in the best shape I should have been, as I normally am, just because I was nicked up. And it showed. I think it personally showed. I think that's one of the sour points of my years in Philadelphia, is that last year, I could not be the guy who I used to be. Now, went back, got myself back in shape, got healthy again, start putting some numbers up, wanting the same numbers, but, I didn't have the same cast around me. So instead of getting say if you got 50 rushes or something and 35 on one-on-ones, well, if you get 50 rushes, you might get 10 one-on-ones. So it became a numbers game. The volume went down, so your numbers go down. But in that case, I just took it as I enjoy my time in Philadelphia. But like I said, there's some good and there's some bad.
Hey, speaking of good, take us real quick into the 91 season, because if you look at any top defensive teams of all time, that squad is always in there. And I got a crazy stat that you probably already know, but there was a 4-game stretch where the defense was so incredible and the offense was so bad. There was a 4-game stretch where the offense gave up 18 turnovers and scored a total of 26 points in 4 games. But the defense, y'all kept the Eagles in it for as long as you possibly could. So just take us into that squad a little bit, because that squad is all-time great.
I tell you, man, when you talk about that 91 team, it was a shame that in retrospect, I don't know if we would have been as good as we was if Randall didn't get hurt. Randall got hurt. It kind of changed the dynamics about what we was as a defense. We know it was a good defense. We knew that. But we didn't have the mindset that we got to hold people to 2 touchdowns. We can't let them score 2 touchdowns. And that mindset we got in, and it got to be pretty salty about us stuff right now. Because we lost to Washington 30-0 on a Monday night game and gave up 120-something yards of total offense. 30-0.
That's incredible.
And it's stuff like that. And then, we go to Tampa, and I think at the time they was probably the worst pass defense and the top run defense, and we trying to run the ball. And then we come back and play New Orleans. They the top pass defense, and we trying to throw the ball. And it was like, what this dude thinking about, But as a younger guy, or not so young then, I was middle, that's fifth or sixth year, somewhere around there. But I wasn't one that says, voice my opinions about the play calling and all the stuff. Hey, the coaches coach, the players play. That's just how I am, and I've been that way always and all the stuff. May not agree, but that's how I am.
Yeah. Now you talk. Sorry, man.
What was that?
Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, but that defense, man, I tell you that up front, who we had. Mm-hmm. And we had Self at left, Byron at the mic. And it started off as Jesse Smalls at the right outside, but they had a young backer there named William Thomas. And Willie T could run. He was physical, but he just was small. That's all. But you never knew that from his play that he was a 210-pound outside backer. Mm. So he learned all the stuff right there, and doing that stuff. Eric Allen at one corner, Ben Smith at the other. Isaiah Jenkins come in after Ben gets hurt. I know people call him toast and all the stuff right there, but Isaiah that year was really good for us. Then you had Wes Hopkins and Andre Waters at the safety. Terry Hogue come in there on nickel. There's a couple of the guys that was, I think John Booty and someone else, I can't remember his name right now, but we had some really good players. And then you talk about Gola coming in being that third tackle. We had a 5-man rotation, which inside with 3. Me and Reggie didn't come off the game, which is different from today's game. It's a rotational thing. So imagine if you think about this right here. Dallas started it back then. What if we would have been able to rotate and stay fresher? Mm-hmm. How much better we could have been? People don't realize, that we played for the majority up front, and the backers too. we played 100% of the time between the 5 of us up front and maybe three linebackers. And then the safety, secondary usually play most of the time anyway, even today's game, unless they got some guys they can substitute. But what if you
almost nobody plays 100% of snaps up front anymore. I mean, nobody.
Yeah, that's crazy. Now, you talked a little bit about your career in Philly. You got banged up a little bit, but when you look back at it, man, you never missed a game. And
It's incredible.
Played 15 years in the NFL, man. First and foremost, how the heck did you do that?
Yeah.
Especially, just these first 2 weeks in the NFL, man, these guys are, major injury after major injury. What are your thoughts on some of these guys going down, and how'd you just stay out there, man, for 15 years straight?
You got to be lucky, first of all, and then you got to do the right things that's in your body, taking care of your body. You see, today's game is way different now, because it used to be you took time to rest, get your body, get your time in the offseason, get that. They probably still do it, but they ask so much of these guys now. So when they come in for these OTAs and all the stuff right there, they want them in shape, almost game shape, So it's not the same where you sit down and say, oh, you don't try and balloon up and get 10, 15, 20 pounds overweight. You may gain 5 pounds at the most, or 10 pounds or something like that. But you come into the point where you say, oh, I'm just want to just be 5, 10 pounds off. So it's not a hard, if something happens that I get nicked up and I can't run as much as I normally would to keep my weight down or get my weight down, you want to be somewhere close to it. But it's a matter of getting lucky. And because you think about this, I think I did a really good job of staying healthy long enough to play, not miss a game in my whole career. But think about Joe Thomas. When the play he started from day one as a rookie till he tore his bicep, which I was on that field when he did that right there. And I was like, we might have saw the last play of Joe Thomas's football career. Over 10,000 snaps and not miss a play.
And that's impossible.
Real stuff. And I'm saying, I'm thinking, I start doing the number crunching. Was there a year that I did not miss a defensive snap? And I was like, no. The closest I think I had in there was 95, 96%.
Mm-hmm.
And this dude has 100% over 10,000 snaps with 100%. I said, dude, I'm impressed with anybody who can do it once a career, 1 year. You did this thing for 10 years straight.
It's unreal.
And, and wasn't like he was a slappy. He was, and you watch, and I would get in there and do my thing at the evening, and I would watch him when he come in the afternoons and evenings, because, he would get days off when I was in Cleveland. I'm like, how you get days off? But then I see him with them days off. Ain't a day off, because this dude is in there at 6:30, 7 o'clock at night working out.
Yeah.
In the weight room. And then they had this little mini pool and all that. He's swimming for a good 35 minutes. I'm like, dude, I knew I should swim when I was in high school and college. After 5-10 minutes, I'm good. I'm about to pass out. This dude,
man, that's actually a perfect segue to my next question. So after your playing career, you got into coaching, and you helped coach Robert Quinn to 19 sacks. You helped coach Aaron Donald, who may go down in history as the greatest defensive tackle of all time. And you coach Myles Garrett. And this might lead into the Joe Thomas talk we were just having. What do those guys possess that other mere mortals that they lack? I mean, is it God-given? Is it work ethic? Is it a mental drive? What separates them from everybody else?
I tell you, what separates guys like Aaron Donald, Robert Quinn, Joe Thomas, and all that stuff, don't get me wrong, they are physically gifted guys, all right? But there are a ton of guys that come on that are physically gifted. The difference is their preparation. The way they practice, the way they play is the way they practice. All of those things right there, they set a tone for about how they want to get and who they want to be, and they work towards it every day when they're on the field. I'll tell you, Aaron Donald is a unique presence to me, because not only that he works on his craft on the field, he works on his craft off the field. His rookie year, I'm an assistant there in St. Louis. I'm passing out some papers the night before, so I always try to get my work done in the evening. So in the morning, I ain't got to be hustling and bustling around there trying to pass out stuff. So I'm doing my stuff there. I go into the defensive line's meeting room. Lights off, but I see light on inside. He's at the laptop watching film. It's 8:30, 9 o'clock at night in training camp. So that's a late evening for training camp. I'm like, what are you doing here? Because their curfew isn't not until 11 or something right there. So I'm like, what are you doing? Coach, I just want to see some other stuff in what we did today, and I want to watch some other things. I said, man, wow. And then I told him, he said, that's the kind of stuff in it. He ain't just watching himself. He's watching other pros from past games, other pros around the league, and trying to see things that they do, studying his craft, learning his craft, being better at his craft. And it showed when he practiced and stuff like that, when he try stuff and do stuff. Plus, he may not be the tallest fella in the world, but he got arms of a length of a guy who's 6'7". He's got strength that he's probably a 5'6", 500-pound bencher, 700-pound squatter, that kind of stuff. Plus, he can run probably a 4.5 when he came out. And he had a get off like Robert Quinn. Robert Quinn was and Aaron Donald. So it's like, oh, these dudes are different. And when they different with work ethic, study habits, constantly working on making sure that they're in the best possible shape or the best possible scenario that's going to make them succeed for each year, because they understand the approach about it, that it's only a limited amount of time you're going to be able to do this. Be the best you can be as long as you can be it. Those windows of greatness, and then you just linger on. And if you're good enough, well, you get to play as long as I did, because it wasn't that I was an every down player. I could still rush the passer, but it was, if you played me more than 25 snaps at a certain point in my life, y'all gonna see some bad football out there. Like, okay, you get to rush the passer for 25 snaps, so we ain't gonna let you play. These guys understand that they are windows, and they are maximizing their windows about opportunity, about all the stuff in there. So that's why I think they're good.
Man, there's so many people that need to hear that. Like, I mean, high school athletes and college athletes and people even like in the business world or whatever you're doing, you can't rest on your laurels. Even if you're the best in the business, you got to keep working. And I'm sure you saw it, but last week, Aaron Donald against the Cowboys, man, he came through one play and he clubbed the I think it was a guard up under his shoulder, up under his armpit. Yeah. And he laid him out. The guard laid the tackle out. And then Donald runs in and smashes Dak Prescott right when he let go of the ball. I mean, he single-handedly with one arm wiped out 2 NFL offensive linemen. It's incredible.
Yeah, it's true. Amazing that he's doing still at such a high level. I mean, he looked like to me he hadn't slowed down a bit, and that's what I love about the guy. I talked to him last year. One of my players when I was at Missouri Baptist, helping Joe Biden out there. Was like, Coach, can you get Aaron to send me a voicemail or something like that? I was like, let me check on him, because I'm like, I was expecting Aaron to say, Clyde, I ain't got time to do all this. Bam, he sent it to him. I was like, oh, all right, dude, appreciate it. That's awesome. But that's what I appreciate about guys like that. All those dudes that I've worked with and all the stuff, still on the first name, first phone call basis. Some change the number, but then I get a text from somebody, hey, here's such and such number. Those are the kind of things right there that I appreciate about those guys, and it makes me feel good that I did have some influence on who they are as players, because I think they were great men when they walked into the building. And all I try to do is just be another older dude talking to a younger dude, the same way Greg Brown was to me, Kenny Clark was to me, Brian Darby, Tom Struthers, those guys, Reggie. It was an older cat talking to a younger cat, trying to make sure he understands that, hey, this is what the game is about, how to be a pro, what to do, how to do, also have a good time live life hard, but you play hard, you get a chance to live hard. Now, hopefully, it don't kill you before you're 55. I got lucky. I'm over 55. And it didn't.
You made it.
Yeah, man.
House
you made
money
it.
now, buddy.
I read an article saying you didn't really want to get into coaching when you finish your football career. So what sort of swayed your decision, I guess, to get back into the game and start helping young kids and coaching?
That is true. When I can kick myself now, but but when I finished retiring, Greg Blosh said to me, he said, Clyde, coaching is the thankless job. And I was like, huh? And it basically what he was saying was, all you're doing is teaching somebody something you love and something you're good at. It's going to be thankless for you. You're just doing what you do, what you've been doing for 2 years here with me. That's that's all coaching is, what you've been doing for 2 years. And what I did was I went to see my son, my second son play. He was a 10th grade, 9th grade, 10th grade, 10th grade. And me and Steve Atwaters, our son, was playing at the same school. So we were sitting there watching the game, and it was like, and I'm watching these guys on defense, and I'm like, what are they teaching these clowns? I'm seeing something like, dude.
Steve Atwater might run out there and hit somebody.
Yeah, right. So 8th graders, 8-year-olds doing same. This is 8-year-old pop on a kiddie pool's football. What are they doing? So, they changed head coach. He retired. I think they went second round, third round state playoffs or something. He retired. He'd been there a long time. The new coach was the defensive coordinator. His name was Ken Robinson. I was like, hey, Ken, I was like to come out and help the guys with some technical stuff right there. I wasn't trying to be the coach. I was just going there just to try and help, teach them a couple of things. He said, yeah, man, that's fine, but you got to take this community coaching course or something. I said, yeah, okay. Then. So basically it's taking a test and CPR. So, you do the things where they make worry about the kids' health, okay? So I did that for a year. Thinking, I didn't want to coach because I know what coaching requires and all that stuff. And then I had fun. I mean, don't get me wrong. We were little. I think my son, he was at the time 6'2", 6'3", and about 195, maybe a 200. He might have been the second biggest. No, that's his senior. I'm sorry, senior. His junior year, he was like probably the 5th biggest lineman they had because they moved him from outside linebacker to D-line. And then we had some guys that played both ways. None, I would say, major college talents, but they were small college talents and stuff right there. They can probably get in and I think a couple of them went to space in small college football, but they were little. And I enjoyed it, just working with these young men, being excited about going to work and all the stuff right there. And they excited about what you're trying to teach them. And then the next year, my son's senior year, well, there was 2 linemen bigger than him on offense and defense. And he's like 6'4" and then like 220. And there's 2 offensive linemen bigger than him. One of them was Chase Roberts. He went to Georgia Tech. And the other one, I can't remember his name. He couldn't bust his way out of a wet paper bag. I was like, oh, my God, you're killing me. Athletic, move well, dance around, big dancing bear. Asking to put with his hands on somebody, you act like he was told that he got to stick his hand in a bucket of acid. Oh, no. Ooh.
Oh, man. That's good.
Hey, and real quick for me, I noticed that doing a little research on you that you did not graduate with your degree, but you went back to get it. And we have a lot. I'm a teacher, and so a lot of my students they listen to this. So why was going back and getting that degree and finishing your education so important to you?
Well, it got to a point where I've been wanting to go back, and I was trying to do something early on before I officially made it a true commitment of going back. Was that I didn't want to get to a point where my children, it was the selfish motive for me. I didn't want my children to say, oh, well, you didn't finish. And you know how kids will give you that face.
Oh yeah.
Hell yeah.
When they start doing stupid stuff, I look at it like, I finished my degree.
There you go.
I've been fortunate that, my kids are going to school. I got 3 that have graduated, 2 with masters.
That's awesome.
And I got 2 in college right now, and another one, he'll be in there in a few years. So my thing is that I'm gonna be working until I'm about 80. I got to keep myself somewhat healthy and all the stuff so that I make sure that, hey, y'all going to school, because if I can do it, y'all can do it. And that's
absolutely
great about it right there, because I tell these young men that I'm working with now, your number one priority when you came to school is to get a degree.
Mm-hmm.
Not to play football, is to get a degree. And the way you compete out here in the football is the same way you compete in the classroom. And if you don't compete in the classroom the same way, you're doing yourself a disservice. Because I'm here to tell you, no matter how long you play, it ends. Whether it's high school, college, if you're blessed enough to make it to the pros, it ends. And you don't want to be that guy that doesn't have any options when it all ends about the stuff. And being educated and all that stuff, you may not work in the same field that you get your degree in, but you become a guy who's got a chance of doing something else. And all you want is options, because the worst thing in the world is to be as a older dude in this world is to have no options.
Mm-hmm.
And then I just want these young men to know that, hey, you know what, you got options to do things in there. If you don't take advantage of your opportunities, shame on you.
Yeah, man.
Absolutely.
That's good stuff. Now, I grew up in the southern part of New Jersey, so I grew up right outside of Philadelphia. My dad, he's a huge Eagles fan, and he really gave me no choice when I was growing up of what team I was to cheer for, and I'm still a huge Eagles fan to this day. My dad and my uncles, man, they love Buddy Ryan, so I know you played with him on the Eagles, and I think he coached you in Arizona as well. So
Mm-hmm.
what's a good Buddy Ryan story you could tell some of the guys were listening? And I don't know, what did you think of him as a coach? Was he as tough as it seems?
I'll tell you what, maybe because I'm a little different than a lot of people. I like brutal honesty. I like people being honest with me.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
And he was that, brutally honest. Now, I'll tell you a story. I'll tell you a quick story. I'll try to make it quick. Let's say that.
All right.
We was playing the Giants back in '86 when they won the Super. That year they won the Super Bowl, and they were pretty damn good, So they giving it to us right there. They beating the crap out of us early on and all the stuff right there, and they beating us in there. So somewhere in the third or fourth quarter, Buddy was like, "Hey, play them young guys. Just throw them out there." So I got thrown out there in the Bulls right there, right? So it was Bill Roberts, Damian Johnson playing left guard, left tackle. So I'm playing a 5 technique. Them jokers double team me, right? And I'm like, as soon as they got me, I knew I was gotten, because I was like, oh, I'm trying to get my feet on the ground. They just barely touching. They got me up in the air, right? And they just drive me off. And then they ain't just drive me this way. They drive me towards the sideline. And, they just kept going. And I'm steady. All I'm trying to do is get my feet on the ground, because them 2 summer guns, and, I want to say something else, but we talking public television.
Yep.
So them 2 summer guns took me and threw me out of bounds. And then they was at the sideline, and I'm looking up at them like this. These 2 jokers is high-fiving each other. And I was like, I'm saying to myself, all right, that's what I said. All right, okay. Now, the next day, I go in. I'm in there early, because I'm like, you know what? I'm sore. I thought I done played 80 plays. Body slam here, but doors all outdoors. But I'm in the weight room early, because I'm like, it ain't happening to me again like that. So we get into the films. My coach already came in and said, well, they got you. I thought he was going to rip me, but he's like, that's why I said sometimes he was that dude. Hey, I know when to get on him and know when to pick him up. But we get into film. Somebody used to come in film, right? He used to run film. And the way his grade was like, for a minus, he would say dumb A. No, mine was horse shit. Mental error was a dumbass. And
Language.
oh, sorry. And then he got there. Now, this is how he would grade the film: 56, 92, 48, 27, HS, and a dumbass. And then he was going through that play, and he's getting to that play, and I'm like, he's at that play, and he's saying all the stuff right there. I'm like, come on, man, get to it. And then finally he says, and 96, what in the blankety blank is this? I'm like, all the guys are looking at me like this, like, but they all know if you play long enough, you gonna get got.
Oh yeah, it happens to everybody.
I ain't never been got like that. I've been, clipped and all that stuff, but I ain't never been body slammed before in my life. Now I was body slammed by them jokers. But that kind of stuff right there was like, Buddy Ryan was one of those ones that's brutally honest. I love the dude. Just like that, he was, hey, game day, all bars, whatever it takes to win. Do what you got to do to win and all the stuff, getting your point across. And the man was a genius, all the stuff right there. As the game got a little bit different, he still had the approach about putting as much pressure on the quarterback. And I think it rubbed off on me that I believe that you got to pressure that guy into making hard decisions, fast, hard decisions. And hopefully you get him to throw things into bad places because he's running for his life versus standing back there. And today's game, I would have lost a lot of money just because of the way I played.
Oh yeah, for sure.
The game was allowed to be physical.
Mm-hmm.
He was allowed to hit quarterbacks. Now, if you brush on them and you go by them, it used to be a time you give them that old chicken wing going by and say, hey, let you know, hey, dude, I ain't got you, but I'm close.
Not anymore.
You might get 15-yarder now. So,
Yep.
So it's like, you can't chicken wing them guys anymore. But it's like one step was 2 steps. Now it's a no step. Unless you hitting them and got the ball, you can't touch them.
That's right. That's right.
I got a feel for these guys that play defense. The minute you start catching up on defense, they change the rules to make it an offensive game again.
Yeah.
I'm always going to be like that. I just find it frustrating sometimes watching games that's like, that was a flag?
Me too.
Yeah.
Me too. Hey, Brian, you got anything else?
That's it for me, man. But I love that last story was pretty good, man. But I think I think you got some other people too, man, with 121 and a half sacks. I'm sure there's a lot of guys out there that got the Clyde Simmons story about how you got them. So that's good stuff.
That's right.
Well, I got a lot of respect for a lot of people.
Yeah.
A lot of respect for Troy Aikman. I remember we got all those sacks that game. He just sat there and took it. He didn't cry about it. Now I don't know what he was doing on the other sideline. But
he didn't show you that. It hurt, right? Yeah.
He's an ultimate competitor. So I got a lot of respect for him.
Hey, thank you so much for coming on, Clyde. We appreciate the time, man. This was fantastic.
Yeah, man. We appreciate that. And hopefully we can have you back on soon. Maybe Western Carolina can get some games in, I guess. Maybe, I don't know. I guess you guys kind of canceled the season, right? So
we got a couple scheduled.
Okay.
I'm not playing football in North Carolina, but I'm still, I'm from North Carolina and I went to New Hanover and Wilmington. So,
okay. So we're
school and stuff right there. So I still watch a little bit, not as much as I want to, but now that they ain't gonna be playing football and stuff right there for this spring. Just till the spring in the high school. So we'll see.
Yeah. Me and Bobby are both we're in Greenville, North Carolina right now. I graduated from ECU, so we're both over here in North Carolina as well. So we're hoping, I guess, to watch a few Pirate games, I guess, this year. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah. They got a couple of them scheduled and stuff like that. It's a challenging time, and people got to be smart and got to do the right things, wear the mask, social distancing, and wash your hands. You'd be surprised how many German jokers out there that don't wash their hands.
Yes.
Sure, man. Yeah. All right, man. Thanks for coming on. Hopefully we can get you back on soon, man. We really appreciate your time, and that was awesome.
Thanks so much.
All right, now. I'm assuming you ain't Regina.
No.
No, I'm not. It's just the Zoom login.
All right, guys. Y'all be
All
careful.
right, man. Take it
All
easy,
right,
Clyde.
hey. Yep. See you. Have a good one.
All right, now. Bye-bye.
All right, man. That was good. Oh, Clyde Simmons.
That was great. Fantastic interview.
Yeah, man. There's so many questions I want to ask him, but I wanted just to give him the floor, man.
I know.
To tell some stories. It's like I was having a hard time. I just want to jump in and ask like 1,000,001 questions, but
Oh yeah.
hopefully we can get him back on. And
dude,
I mean, he's one of my he's probably one of my all-time favorite Eagles. I mean, I was still young at that time he was playing, but that's sort of when like my dad got me into football, so I can remember watching him and Reggie and those guys that he was talking about. And yeah, he was a stud, man. I mean, he was he
was a two-time Pro Bowler and two-time All-Pro selection. In 1989, he had 15 and a half sacks. He had the 10th most tackles in the league and did not make the Pro Bowl. 9 of the top 10 sack leaders from that year made the Pro Bowl. He was the only one that didn't. How do you have 15 and a half sacks and not make the Pro Bowl?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, that was one of the things I was gonna ask him, but we just kind of run out of time. I know. Keep him on here for 2 hours, but yeah, I mean, and then in 92, I mean, he had 19 sacks. I mean, that's no matter what era of football you play in. I mean, that's just unreal numbers. I mean, and then I don't know how he's not in the Hall of Fame at this point. I mean, with almost 1,000 career tackles, 121 and a half sacks. I mean, playing on some of those good defenses. I don't know. Maybe he'll get his time, but yeah, I mean, he was a stud, man. He's a good dude. I'm glad he got into coaching because
it's funny too, man.
I read that article, and it was like, I guess it was an older article. I found it online, and he was talking about how he never really wanted to coach. So yeah, I mean, I'm glad he's out there spreading the word for some of them young guys. And I mean,
for sure,
I'm sure he has, the technique for days for those D linemen, and they need to take all they can get from him, man, because he was a beast.
No kidding.
Yeah, man. All right. That was good stuff. Hey. I don't know.
Oh, yeah. Great interview, buddy.
Yep. All right, man. We'll post this on Facebook, and hopefully everybody likes it. Give us your comments. Give us your feedback.
Yes.
And
get on YouTube as well. If if you're not watching it there on YouTube, subscribe, like it, all that good stuff.
Yep. All right, man. I'll talk to you soon.
See you, bud.
See ya.